My name is Kristi Thrasher-Emigh. I'm 35 years old and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. In February of this year, I was on maternity leave and I returned actually back to work the middle of February this year. And I had been to work about maybe a month. I actually was having a bath one day and I was washing and I had felt a lump in my right breast, and I thought, that's not normal. So I had went to the doctor and he checked me over, and he pretty much told me I was young and it's probably nothing to worry about, but he did send me to the hospital and I had a mammogram, and I knew that something wasn't right because the lady that did my mammogram, she kept leaving the room and coming back. So I was getting a little bit worried because I was thinking, geez, what's going on? And then she told me that she had to do a few more pictures and they were going to do an ultrasound. And she told me that the radiologist was going to come and talk to me. And I thought, geez, why would the radiologist come talk to me? That's kind of weird. I'm sure it's probably going to be bad news because usually your doctor gets the news and they tell you. The radiologist came in and, he said that he didn't really have good news for me, that he was pretty sure that I did have breast cancer, that the tumor was very cancer suspicious, and that I would have to go to Trenton Hospital, that they didn't want to biopsy it because it was pretty big and they didn't want to do anything to have anything spread or do anything like that. So he told me I had to go to Trenton to have a biopsy, and when I had my biopsy in Trenton, they told me, yeah, they were sure 100% that it was cancer. And I was pretty devastated because I didn't know what to think at the time. Like, is this something that's going to kill me? Am I going to be, I'm going to have to have my breast taken off? I'm going to have to, all these things are running through my mind. And on the backside of things, I'm thinking, who's going to be looking after my daughter? Is she going to be okay? Is everything going to be all right? It was pretty devastating news considering that I was supposed to be at the happiest point in my life, being a first-time mom and raising my little girl. I didn't expect to have cancer. I had a mastectomy on June 3rd, and I got through that. It was tough, but then I had to start chemo in July, and actually it was the day before my 35th birthday that I had my first chemo treatment. And chemo's been rough. I have to do 6 chemo treatments. It's tough, but you get through it. I look at my little girl every day and she gets me out of bed. She's a toddler, so she's very busy and it keeps me going all the time. So at least with her around, her and my husband are like my huge supporters. He's always looking after me, I'm looking after her, and it makes things a lot easier. But like I said, we were a 2-income family. I was actually denied the EI benefits, the sick benefits, so now I'm fighting with the government. So I'm fighting cancer, I'm raising a toddler, and I'm fighting the government. So I look, towards the future, and after my chemo, I'm going to have 5 weeks of radiation. I also tested HER2 positive, so I have to do a year of that treatment. And then hopefully by next year, we'll be able to start my reconstruction surgery. So I have a long road ahead of me, but I know with my daughter and my husband on my side, I'll get through it. And I guess with fighting with the government, it keeps my mind busy, so I don't focus so much on my cancer. And I remember when I went in for my surgery to have my breast removed, because that was my best case scenario, is the tumor was pretty big and there was other suspicions in there with other smaller tumors. So they told me that my best case scenario was to remove my whole breast, and that hopefully that would prevent something later. Well, when I had my breast removed, they also removed 8 lymph nodes, and 2 of my lymph nodes were affected by it, so 2 of them did have cancer tissue with them. So they told me that I was very lucky that they caught it when they did, because it had already started to spread. So when I found out that it had spread to 2 of my lymph nodes, I was really, really upset. And I went home, and my husband, he said, well, at least it was only 2, and he was trying to be very positive. But that was the day that I actually cried. I broke down and cried because here I thought it was just a tumor, it was nowhere else. But once I found out that it was in my other lymph nodes, that, yeah, it was really upsetting. And then come to find out, I tested HER2 positive. So HER2 positive means that it tells the green light for cancer to grow elsewhere in my body. I'm now having genetic testing. I'm just waiting to find out. And if I test positive for the BRCA gene, well, then I'll have my other breast removed. and I'll also have to have a hysterectomy because they try to remove all the parts that would be affected. On the plus side, at least if I do test positive for the BRCA gene, I'll know for my daughter for the future. And once I get through this, and if she has to go through it, if she just only has to have her breast removed because she's a BRCA gene positive as well, then at least she knows it's not the end of the world because mommy did it. So I got cancer young. I definitely don't want my daughter to get cancer at a young age or cancer at all. But, you know, it's a worry I'm going to have for the rest of my life until she grows up and I know that she's going to be okay. But at least knowing that I'm being tested for the BRCA gene and she'll be tested as well, at least we have a little bit, you know, we can kind of foresee the future a little bit and prevent her from actually getting sick. My fight through EI and all the stuff that I've had to go through with the battle of with them was really difficult because we were a two-income family and now we're down to one. And it's been hard because we didn't know how we were going to pay the bills. But you know, I have a fantastic family and friends and community. My friends did a benefit dance for me. I had complete strangers like Stephen Black from Dem Bones who stepped up, and he's helped us out a lot. Poplar's Golf Club out by our house. They had a charity golf tournament for us. So it's pretty sad that it's my community that has to support me and not my government when, you know, that's why I paid in EI all those years. But on the other side of things, it's great to know that I live in such a wonderful community that they are willing to help me.